Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all so much for being here, for joining us. I'm Shannon Silver on the brand marketing team here at The Orchard, and I'm so excited to be sitting with the three of you, The Orchard's honorees on the Billboard Women in Music list for 2023. So first of all, congratulations for being honored on this list. Would you like to introduce yourselves and your title here at The Orchard?
Sure. Hi, and thank you. It's an honor to be here. I'm Mary Ashley Johnson, and I'm the EVP of Sales and Artist and Label Services for US and Canada.
Hello, I'm Colleen Theis. I'm the Global COO and President of The Orchard. And we're obviously very excited to be honored, but also our honor reflects everyone in the company and their efforts. So thanks.
And hi, I'm Tricia Arnold. I am the EVP of Global Artist and Label Services and Sales.
Great. So being honored on this list is an incredible achievement. How did it feel to be honored on this list, especially among really great company?
It was amazing recognition. And I think, to Colleen's point, I feel like all three of us share the same mindset of we represent all of the women and people here of The Orchard as well. So it was a collective win, and it's an honor to kind of represent all of the people that we get to work alongside of every day.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. And just to sort of that point, one of the things I love most about working here is that we do have so many incredible people and so many smart, passionate, intelligent women that have really been empowered by the company. And I think that's a testament to Brad and Colleen's leadership, really.
And to your leadership in turn. Yeah, the Women in Music list is a very important honor because it actually highlights the achievements of the industry overall in terms of leveling up and actually providing more opportunity for leadership roles for women and non-binary people in the music industry. So particularly this year was exciting to see Kim Petras win an award as the first transgender artist to be honored for that. And there was also quite a few artists whose primary language is not English that were honored as well twice. And Rosalia, Becky G, Ivy Queen. So that was really extra special moment, I think, for us this year as an industry. And in particular, some of those artists have ties to Sony and The Orchard. So of course, we're happy for that as well.
Colleen, when you were in LA, you wrote a really nice note about Sylvia Rohn, and I believe you said, "Congratulations to my first CEO and my always mentor and inspo." I think you've become that person here at The Orchard for so many women, especially. So in terms of the demographics of women in leadership, how have you witnessed the evolution and the progression of just women leadership since you first began your careers?
Well, Sylvia, is a force unto herself, right? And she has put in decades in an industry that was, frankly, rather hostile toward women for a long time, and persevered, and particularly being a woman of color as well, I'm sure there was an additional layer of challenges that she faced. And she was actually the CEO of Elektra Records for my first job in the music business. So I was a coordinator. We didn't really work very closely together, but of course, seeing that leadership, and I think there's a saying, you have to see it to be it, was definitely critical in understanding that, there are tons of challenges, but pulling people along with you that have the same vision can actually help achieve those things. And for you to say that I'm that for people at The Orchard is really humbling. And I never really meant for that to be the case. I just love working in music, and I love being surrounded by like-minded people. And, so when we are looking for people to fill particular roles in the company, we're interviewing all kinds of people. And frankly, lots of times, most of the best choices are women. So we kind of organically were able to recruit and retain more women than probably a lot of businesses in our sector. Well, actually, our sector is doing quite well compared to the overall industry. All the major distribution companies have strong female leadership. So, yeah. What about y'all? How do you feel about all this?
I've been at Sony 28 years. And it's changed drastically in women in leadership within the company. And I think that's a testament to women like Sylvia and women like Colleen. And I would even say Tricia too. I think it's us, hopefully setting an example. And looking at how Colleen has, I will say Colleen has definitely brought me along since joining the company, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And it's also the pay it forward mentality of, you find good people and you support them and encourage them and help them to have a voice and to be confident in that. And to, everyone works hard, but to feel confident about having that voice and working hard and putting themselves out there and asking for that promotion and asking for the rewards that they deserve.
I think to that point, your point of like, you need to see it to be it. And, I was saying to you the other day, like you had Sylvia as an example, but you and I've worked together a long time and you've always been that example for me. And even like growing up at the Orchard or through my career, like having that example of like, okay, this is how you can navigate and this is how you can be, and sort of bringing people along that way. And really, to your point of like supporting each other in the way that, like that there are other people like maybe looking to you and just sort of being aware of that and seeing how that you can create that space for them. Like so many times you talk about being a woman in any industry and how people talk over you and how we can sort of like support each other in that and say like, actually this person was saying that or like whatever. And I think that's something that, has worked really well here.
I think another thing about the Orchard that I found unique is the level of competition is that we actually compete with our competitors. We don't compete internally. We don't compete across markets. We don't compete across departments, and we don't compete across people, and we don't set people up to compete against one another. And I think that environment really kind of fosters the culture of who we are as a company and hopefully helps to bring people along. And we support one another and encourage one another. And that was a big shift of something that in other divisions and in other jobs I've had, it has been very competitive of, scrapping your way to get noticed or to get that job or promotion or whatever. And I feel like here, it really is an inclusive place where everyone works hard, everyone kicks ass, and everyone kind of raises each other up to move forward.
Team. Definitely. I mean, we definitely have a team mentality or a pack mentality here at the Orchard. And a lot of it's due to the way that we've grown up in the industry and the way that we consciously structured going forward. And to Tricia's point, we've worked together, Tricia and I, in other organizations as well for many years. And when we met, neither of us were, obviously in the roles or the levels that we're at now. And the whole thing is a journey, and everybody's important, and it's not like what we were doing at that time was any less, important to the companies and the organizations that we were contributing to. It was, everyone has a part to play. And, you brought up about like volleying for your promotions and stuff. It also is important to remember like being in the moment and actually enjoying where you are, because you're never going to have that, experience again, like your first, business trip to a foreign country or your first like time that you meet an artist that you've always wanted to work with. Like those are amazing moments, and to try to rush past them to be like the head of something or manage a big team, like it's not necessarily all that it's cracked up to be. There are challenges and opportunities and joyful and terrible moments with every single role. And so just remembering to enjoy the journey and, understand that like there's always going to be levels of things that are going to be new experiences for you. Like I'm still having them all the time, thank goodness, because it would get pretty boring if not. But, I think when we met, what was your role?
I was an intern.
Yes.
Yeah. But to your point, like the first time I got to like pack CDs, to send promo CDs of like some artists that I like off to some like foreign country, was the most exciting moment,
Yeah, and that was like, I had been working at Elektra under Sylvia's leadership, but again, like super far down the totem pole. And it was a very, a major label structure where, I was never going to be able to sit in those meetings or, so I took a job at an indie label that was much smaller, but it was a bigger job. And that's where Tricia was starting as an intern the first week that I started as the international marketing manager. And at that time, international also didn't mean like everywhere. It was international ex-UK and Europe, because we had our own organization there. So, I had to be like, okay, cool. I don't know what that means necessarily. Like for me, international was always like, oh, cool, I get to travel to Europe. Well, no, I didn't at all. But I did get to travel to like Argentina and Japan and Chile and Australia. understand a whole world that I really hadn't even contemplated existed in the business. And so, yeah, being open to opportunities, just like you've moved around quite a bit during your tenure at Sony and Orchard and Red, right?
Yeah.
And many the women that you have met, like that still work with us today, like Liz and Wendy Schlesinger, like they're still in the mix. So yeah.
Can you talk, going off of that, a bit about your evolution just within the Orchard from when you first joined? And the company has grown so much, and we're one of the leading music companies in the world, and that's a testament to you three here in a lot of ways. So how has your role changed, and how has it evolved, and what are some of the lessons that you've learned along the way when it comes to professional growth?
Well, my role when I first joined was, I came over from Red, so we were all kind of figuring it out through an integration. And there I oversaw the sales team. And here, we were trying to kind of figure out the amalgamation of what that looked like, because Orchard had, a sales team as well. So I think the biggest thing that I learned kind of in that space was to work collaboratively. And I feel like that's how we've had success, is by working collaboratively. I think then kind of starting to kind of oversee other teams in addition to, I get to work with roughly around 86 people on the US and Canada teams. And it's really exciting to watch everyone kind of come together. And I think to Colleen's point, everyone has a really critical role to play. And every job is important. And I think, watching people come together and figure that out and work across departments is also really exciting to witness.
Definitely.
I started at the Orchard. My first job, I was living in London at the time. My first job was overseeing our physical distribution in Europe. So it's changed a little bit, but I think to the evolution of that, one thing that has been great about working at the Orchard is that there are so many opportunities to get involved in different areas. So obviously I started in one area and then moved into doing digital sales and moved countries and worked on the YouTube team, and then was doing US digital sales, and now I'm back involved in international. I think there's a lot of opportunities and, for anyone in the company, and it's just sort of like how you put yourself forward and take advantage of those opportunities. Again, like everyone's got a role to play, and there's a lot of different areas you can get involved with and sort of support each other, and how you can sort of all work together and learn about different areas. That's given me such a great opportunity to see how different departments work, and how maybe we can all work a little bit better together by having that understanding.
And so as women coming up in this industry and taking on leadership positions, there's often a lot of chatter and comments you might hear. Are there any labels or badges you've heard throughout your career that you had to learn to navigate and almost flip it a bit and maybe embrace them? For example, if you've been called bossy or controlling, or just certain titles that have been given to you.
I'm sure I've been called a lot of things that I don't even know about. But the one that I am very familiar with is, I've been called aggressive. And, oftentimes that's seen in a male as a positive attribute, and in a woman, it's seen as a negative attribute. And I think that's an interesting, thing to kind of look at is, when a woman is kind of pushy or advocating or aggressive, it's seen as like, oh my gosh. And I think that, it does really kind of show the difference in our culture and where we are today, is because now just is what it is. And I am very aggressive, and I am going to continue to push and continue to advocate. And, I think that it bothers me less and less. I don't really take it personally.
I was just going to say, I think women in general are, as we grow up, where as little girls and stuff, we kind of have that people-pleasing thing that's innate, and you want to be liked, and you want people to all get along, and you want things to always be perfect. And, you have to let some of that go, and also empower the people around you to play their part and deliver, and not try to take care of everything and everyone, and make sure that, everybody is happy with a certain situation. Sooner that you realize that it's about driving the business forward, and you want to have a positive and collaborative working environment, but you can't please all the people all the time, then it's much easier to accomplish goals. And yeah, I'm sure I've been called a bazillion things, but try not to let it bother me. And I guess the older you get, the easier that is.
Yes, it is.
I'm happy being me. So sure. Yeah. I mean, there've been situations where like if I got promoted over a male, they've, badmouthed me to the gang, that I was like, maneuvering or, whatever. It's like, no, I just worked harder. I just delivered better. Or I just like, I got in there and did what I need to do. So, okay, cool. Anyway.
Yeah.
What about you?
Same thing. I mean, like, I don't know. People call you things like that. It doesn't really bother me. Like, probably the things that would bother me more are like any sort of like comments of like that, like maybe you're not qualified for something because of a certain thing or something like that. Like, but someone calling you bossy or something.
Yeah. Hey, I think for a long time, and again, the culture has changed tremendously, but there was a perception that like a woman was always going to be less qualified for a certain level of job. It's a very large part of my life, and I know of their lives as well. So yeah, you're not going to let somebody tell you that you're, not capable because, you don't play golf with them on the weekends or you don't do other things that dudes do together.
Right. Yeah.
I'm picking up golf, by the way. I'm really bad at it, but it's kind of fun.
Just wrap this up a little bit. Women in music, you were in LA with everybody. Is there one woman artist who you have just had on repeat lately who's really, just you've had on repeat and you're digging her?
Probably, but I'm going to go Caroline Polachek. I was listening to her coming in this morning. Welcome to my island, bitch. I love it. Not calling you.
I was going to say Ray, because her album just came out and her story, I mean, she's just been such a great example of like female perseverance and, an artist who's worked really hard and like gone for it. And, she's achieving and it's the best story.
Definitely.
And the music's great, of course.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, she's such an accomplished artist. Yeah. I mean, from the Orchard artists, I would say those two are amongst, the top ones for me, particularly Ray, because her story is so incredibly moving and her style is sort of, my personal musical taste, like especially the songs like Worth It, some of the more like kind of dancey tunes. She just gets better and better.
Yeah, she does. Yeah.
She's amazing.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for sitting down and chatting with us. And congratulations once again. And thank you for being the leaders and for shaping this culture here at the Orchard. I know I appreciate it. So I applaud and I thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, we applaud you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Shannon.